Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to the Introduction to the Next Generation ReadyNAS webinar. During the presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode. If you would like to ask a question during the presentation, please use the chat feature located in the lower left corner of your screen. If you need to reach an operator at any time, please press *0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded Thursday, March the 21st, 2013. I would now like to turn the conference over to Matt Pahnke, Senior Marketing Manager with NETGEAR Storage. Please go ahead.
Great. Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to speak to all of you this morning. As mentioned, my name is Matt Pahnke. I will be doing the bulk of today's presentation, but I will be assisted by Davin Oishi, who will be taking us through a quick demo of some of the latest features. We really want to show off the new GUI and demonstrate a little bit of our ReadyCLOUD capability. So again, we know that as a company here at NETGEAR, we're only as successful as our channel and resale partners allow us to be, and so it is with a great deal of appreciation that we want to express how glad we are that you've taken a few minutes this morning to hear about our new operating system and also the new hardware that runs that operating system. I'm going to go ahead here and kind of jump into the material. So this past Monday, just a few days ago, we announced the introduction of ReadyNAS Operating System 6. Along with that, we announced a refresh of the hardware line, the ReadyNAS 100 series, the 300 series, and the 500 series. We announced the EDA 500, which I'll cover here in a few minutes, and also a new 1U rack mount, the ReadyNAS 2120. So during today's call, what I'd like to do is give you a little bit of an introduction, one, to the new operating system. That's really where the beating heart, if you will, of the entire ReadyNAS family. Talk about some of the new features that are embedded in that operating system, and certainly talk a little bit about the solutions that those features allow you to sell out to your customers. Along with that, we want to explain how the new naming works, what exactly it means to be a ReadyNAS 100 versus 300, 500, and overall leave you with a firm grasp of kind of where we're going with the ReadyNAS line. So I assume most of you have had experience with ReadyNAS and ReadyNAS storage over the past few years. What you see on your screen now is a snapshot of the NETGEAR storage family as it looks here over the last few months. There at the low end was our ReadyNAS Duo and MB+. Moving up from there came the Ultra family, the Pro family, and then right into the rack mount. And hopefully most of you, if not all, are aware that about 6 months ago we introduced the ReadyData family of enterprise class storage for our higher SMB, even into the mid and lower tier of the enterprise market. So as of now, one thing that we've heard loud and clear from our resellers and also from our customers is that especially at that lower end, the naming and the number of SKUs and configurations can get a little bit overwhelming. Duo is fairly self-explanatory as a 2-bay unit. NB Plus really doesn't tell customers a whole lot about the product, and then as you move into the Ultra and Pro arena, it gets a little bit hard from naming alone to understand which is even better, an Ultra or a Pro. So taking all of that commentary to heart, we decided to simplify and standardize the line. What you see here now is the NETGEAR storage family as it currently looks. So at the low end, the Duo and MV Plus replacement, we now have the ReadyNAS 102 and 104. There in the mid-range is our ReadyNAS 300 line, the 312, the 314, and the 316. At the higher end of the desktop spectrum is the ReadyNAS 516, and then, as I mentioned, we also introduced the 1U ReadyNAS 2120. We will continue certainly to support our ReadyNAS 3200 and 4200 for the time being, and we continue to innovate and develop on the ReadyData platform as well. Just to be crystal clear, what we're talking about with this new introduction of hardware, the 100 series, the 300, and the 500, is again one common operating system that runs across the entire family. We do know that an additional frustration we've heard from some resellers was that in the previous generation we were running different operating systems on different machines. which sometimes led to confusion as to what features fit where. With the new ReadyNAS Operating System 6, we have done away with that confusion by standardizing on one OS, one firmware platform that works across the entire desktop family. Now, the most obvious question at this point would be, well, what are the differences then between your 100, 300, and 500 series? So the way we developed the naming convention, very similar to what you might find in a BMW series or a high-end car series. The 100 is our good line. 300 a little bit better. 500 is the best. And when I say good, better, best, what we're essentially talking about is processor speed. There's a different chip in the 100 versus the 300 versus the 500. But again, the same operating system. So the same core feature set, which we'll cover here in a minute, but the speed at which the boxes are able to handle and act upon those features differs depending upon the speed of the processor. Now, for most users, the speed of the processor is really going to translate across into number of concurrent users. It's obviously going to have an impact on read-write speeds, but the way we've kind of approached this and the way we see most of our resellers and customers approaching it is how many users do we expect to be pinging the box at any given time. So as you see there on the slide, at the 100 level, we expect this to really be a home NAS solution, or a very small office, more of the home office, where you have no more than 5 concurrent users at any given time. The 300 series can support anywhere from 6 to 25 users. So this also an ideal solution for small offices, also a great solution for remote or branch office situations. As we move up into the 500 series, that's where we can support as many as 250 concurrent users. And when I say concurrent users, that's everyone hitting the box at the same time. So even an office of as many as 750, even 1,000 seats could justifiably be supported by a ReadyNAS 500 series box. So when a customer decides, hey, I need to make an investment in a NAS, they really have kind of 2 decisions to make. The first is going to be how many users do I expect to be hitting the box at any given time. That will dictate whether I pursue a 100 series, a 300 series, or a 500 series. The next issue they're going to face is then capacity. So in order to address and to address the capacity issue, at the 100 level, we have a 2-bay and a 4-bay, the 102 and the 104. At the 300 level, we have a 2-bay, a 4-bay, and a 6-bay. That's the 312, the 314, and the 316. At the 500 series level, we offer the 500 series in a 6-bay, or the 516. Now, each of these boxes support both SATA and SSD drives and support capacity per drive of up to 4 terabytes. In addition, for the first time, ReadyNAS Storage is offering what we call the EDA 500 expansion chassis. The EDA 500 is essentially an empty box, an empty 5-bay box, that allows you to add up to 20 terabytes of capacity to your existing ReadyNAS unit. And again, that's 5 bays with a potential of 4 terabytes per bay, 5 times 4, 20 terabytes. The EDA 500 is compatible with the 300 series and the 500 series. As I mentioned earlier, because of the common operating system, pretty much the entire feature set is common across the line. One of the few exceptions is support for the EDA 500 expansion. So again, expansion is available on the 300 and also the 500 level box. One other point that we want to raise is that this is a new generation of ReadyNAS hardware and a new generation of ReadyNAS software. This is not an incremental evolution from past operating systems. This is a complete rebuild from a new kernel. As such, old ReadyNAS hardware is not compatible with ReadyNAS 6.0. We are going to continue to support the old software as far as maintaining its compatibility with browsers, maintaining compatibility with drives and things of that nature. But as a company, we were in a position of wanting to innovate at a level, innovate on the data protection characteristics to such an extent that we realized that we would be unable to do so on the old hardware. And there was no way to do a direct and simple upgrade path without the risk of data loss. Obviously, as resellers of data protection hardware and data protection software, you understand that data integrity and your customer's data is paramount. Because we were not able to guarantee the integrity of the data in making a switch from the old operating system to the new, we had to make the decision that ReadyNAS OS 6 will only be available on new boxes going forward. We'll be publishing additional information on that to our partner portal and other sites, but we want to make sure as resellers that we all understand the situation and the reasons for that decision. So with that being said, here's a quick overview and a comparison chart of the 102, 104, 312, 314, 316, and 516. You can see that we've significantly upgraded the processor speed across the entire line using not only the latest processors, but also considerably amping up the amount of RAM, the amount of memory on each box. We've covered the recommended number of users. You see some information here as far as ports are concerned. And then when you look at total solution capacity, keep in mind again that we're supporting up to 4 terabytes per bay, that we then can add 20 terabytes with each expansion chassis, and that gives you kind of a sense for how we arrived at some of those numbers. With that being said, before we jump into the individual features, just kind of a reminder or a recap of where we see our customers using ReadyNAS storage and where we know that you are having conversations day in and day out with your various customers. Obviously, we continue to operate as a unified storage platform. So from a file sharing standpoint, whether it's Mac, PC, or Linux boxes, ReadyNAS works as an ideal file sharing platform. Probably the most common use case continues to be backup, specifically disk backup, and a lot of the technology that we've built into the new boxes really shines in this whole arena of backup. And we're going to talk about the ability to take unlimited snapshots. We're going to talk about even things like antivirus and some of the other features that really strengthen our data protection and certainly backup story. Just as much can be said about the capabilities around disaster recovery. We have some exciting news on the ReadyNAS Replicate front, and we'll go a little bit deeper into that when we get into the features. Also want to highlight that all of the new ReadyNAS boxes are built to perform in virtualized environments. That means that they are iSCSI compatible, or they support iSCSI. It means that they even have some advanced functionality in the realm of thin provisioning, and certainly carry the certifications for VMware, vSphere, and Microsoft Hyper-V. As far as the cloud is concerned, there are a number of innovative features that do touch the cloud. We're approaching the cloud space primarily as an ease of use application, meaning that a lot has been done to improve the ability to access information through the cloud. Some revolutionary things have been addressed as far as discovery through the cloud, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we dig into the individual features. So with that being said, I'm going to talk for just a couple more minutes, and then we're going to actually dive into the GUI, and you get to see the product in action. Just want to stress that the real message that we're trying to get across, both to our reseller community and of equal importance to our user community, is the idea that ReadyNAS is storage made easy. As I mentioned, we're using the latest in processors. We've jammed these things full of memory. So on the performance side, we expect and we've seen that IOPS and the read-write characteristics are right there, if not at the front of the pack across the competitive space. But where we felt we could really make a long-lasting impact in the NAS world is by bringing complex features to our customer base in a form that is, one, significantly less expensive, but two, significantly easier to use. So really this idea of taking advanced, complex, enterprise-class technology and bringing it to the small and medium business arena. These two themes of easy access and easy protection apply both to home users and business users alike. Now I realize that this audience today is primarily concerned with the business applications, so that's where we're going to spend the majority of our time talking about some of the data protection, disaster recovery, virtualization type solutions. But just understand that much of what we have done with the new ReadyNAS platform has also been with an eye toward expanding the potential user base of NAS boxes. So there are a number of features, a number of applications that do apply to home use that of course have been amped up for those needs of business users as well. So again, ReadyNAS, storage made easy, and this really translates across as easy access and easy protection. With that being said, we'd like to introduce you to one of the more revolutionary aspects of the ReadyNAS 6 experience, and that is ReadyCLOUD. And to delve a little bit deeper into ReadyCLOUD, we're going to go ahead and turn the mic over to Davin Oishi, and he's also going to give us a little bit of a tour of some of the new technology. Davin?
Thanks, Matt. So I'm going to start with 3 simple demos. The first one is a ReadyCLOUD Discovery. So I know a lot of pain has been absorbed by a lot of folks on the call in just getting units set up. So we looked at the process on how we did that, and we really tried to change the way we handle the out-of-box experience. So our new experience is going to be very simple. Take the unit out of the box, plug in the power cord, plug in the Ethernet cable, turn it on. If there's hard drives to put in there, put the new drives in. We have new toolless hard drive trays, so you don't have to find a little screwdriver anymore to even put the hard drives in. Once you get that done, instead of loading Radar or a different discovery agent or trying to find the IP address of the box, all we're going to suggest is you go to readycloud.netgear.com. You'll see this web page, and you just click Discover. From there, you're going to see a long list of items of ReadyNAS devices on your network. In my case, it looks a little large because I am on the NETGEAR test network. From there, you select the device you have. Again, typically you'll just have 1 or 2 devices. All the devices that have not been set up have the new icon on the far left-hand side. From there, you click Setup, and you're allowed to do 2 different things. So you can either join ReadyCLOUD now, or you can join later. What is the difference? So initially, ReadyCLOUD, if you join the ReadyCLOUD mode, what we're going to do is we're going to pre-configure it for ReadyCLOUD sharing to allow you to remote access the box, turning on features such as ReadyNAS Remote in the background. If you join later, that pretty much means you're going to set it up locally, and there's going to be no difference to how you set up or access your box from the current generation of ReadyNAS products. So I'm going to go and show you the ReadyCLOUD workflow. If you don't have a ReadyCLOUD account, you can go ahead and create one. I will just show you what that is: usernames, passwords, email addresses, so you can recover your password. I'm going to go back and just log in with an existing account. Oops. Then it's going to basically walk me through a basic setup process, which if I can change the host name of the product, I can change the time zone if needed. Basically, that's going to allow the basic setup. It is going to ask you to actually hit the backup button on the device. This is just to make sure you have physical access to the device. Again, in most common use cases, you've only got 1 or 2 boxes in the network. It's not a big deal. But in cases where everybody's sharing a common network, college campus, things like that, it's important that you don't hijack somebody else's box. So we do ask that you actually physically make sure you have access to the box. Once you're done, setup process is complete. Then you're moved from the ReadyCLOUD Discover tab over to the Access tab. Okay, so let me show you the box I just set up, the 102 demo. You've seen it's got pre-configured shares already, so you can start using those shares. You can create new shares directly here from the cloud. So I haven't logged into the local GUI at all. I'm still accessing it from the cloud portal. I'm actually going to change boxes to a box that actually has data on it already. So again, the process would be the same if this were your box, but just to highlight a few things. So what I want to show now is some of the management and access features. So on the management side for any of these devices, I'm going to be talking about the demo RN312 device. You're allowed to cross-launch the local admin GUI. So if you need to make advanced changes to setup, you can do that. You can do firmware upgrades directly from the cloud of your boxes, and you can see some high-level data capacity information. On the Access tab, you can actually create new shares. You can set up your settings for users, giving them read-write access, again, all directly from the cloud. And then what I'm going to spend the last bit of time on is actually going through and showing you what it looks like to actually browse data in the cloud. So here I'm looking at my picture share on the demo unit, the 312 unit. And I've got some data in there. And one of the great features that we'll talk about in the presentation that's enabled on ReadyNAS OS 6 is snapshotting. So this box has been running. Snapshots have been taken in the past. So in this example, I'm just going to delete frog. And then I'm going to go into recovery mode. I'm going to go into a previous snapshot where I can see the same frog video or picture. I'm going to restore that. I'm going to restore it to its original location. And then now when I go back into the regular real-time mode, frog picture is back and I'm up and running. So whether you're on the local GUI or you're in ReadyCLOUD, you will have access to your snapshot data. You can restore information. You can browse old snapshots. We do have different viewing options, so you can preview your files in different viewing modes in the cloud. You can obviously download files. You can look at it in list mode depending on what you're trying to search for. And again, that's all enabled directly from the cloud. So much more rich cloud experience for remote access. There were no clients I had to install, anything like that. So that's the general ReadyCLOUD experience. Definitely improves the discovery portion of setup and also makes remote access a lot easier. Then I want to show quickly what it looks like from the local GUI. So this is the same 312 unit, but you'll see I'm on the local GUI now. I'm not in ReadyCLOUD. If you access the GUI, you'll see the same kind of browse functionality. You'll see the same share information, the same setting options that you'd expect. You can handle all your accounts, apps. You can change all your cloud settings. You can join or remove yourself from ReadyCLOUD at any time. So this is the basic. Let me go to settings. The basic kind of look and feel and the new workflow in the local GUI for ReadyNAS OS 6. So with that, I think we have a much cleaner setup process, much easier access within the cloud, and also a new look and feel and a new workflow for our local administration and advanced setting configurations. So that's the demo, and I'll turn it back over to Matt. Let me stop sharing.
Yep, great. Thank you very much, Davin. So hopefully this gives everyone a little bit of a brief introduction to what we're doing with the new ReadyNAS OS 6 and the ReadyCLOUD experience. One thing that you ideally picked up on during that introduction is that we have completely revamped the entire user interface, and this is both for the ReadyCLOUD experience and the local experience. We feel like it's a big step in the right direction as far as modernizing the overall experience. What we've tried to do really is to take away a lot of the clutter, but certainly allow, one, put the right tools in the right place at the right time for the majority of users, but then ensure that there is a deeper level of interaction that certainly can take place at the admin level for those that are comfortable with that type of, with digging into the, to the roots and the guts of the system. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the next few slides because they're very similar to what Davin just covered. Just want to mention, though, on the discovery piece, one thing that, because this is all cloud-based, it's so simple that I can be sitting at Starbucks working on my iPad or my Android tablet. I can have someone back at the office that's deploying a new machine. They decide for whatever reason that they'd like me to do it, or maybe this is a remote office. They call me. I'm sitting there, sipping my latte, and I can actually do the entire setup right there from my tablet for a box on the other side of the country, with the only interaction required being that they need to actually push a button on the box for syncing purposes, and of course that adds a layer of security. So the entire experience can be handled directly from the web. You're up and running in really a matter of seconds. Once you're into the box, you recall from Davin's demo, every box that you have associated with your ReadyCLOUD account shows up here in this next slide. And then with that, you can go to a more granular level and begin taking a look at all the shares and LUNs, build out shares and LUNs. And again, everything can obviously be done locally, but in this case, everything can also be done from the cloud. Once you have your shares and LUNs established, the ability to go granular into the actual file level using a browser window very similar to your Windows browser. And here's where you really, you have the ability to add files, to download files directly to your local device. And I'm not sure Davin covered this, but that can actually be done through a drag and drop interface as well. So very, very easy to use, modern in pretty much every sense of the word. Where things begin to get exciting, I think, is on this whole snapshot capability. Just to be clear, when we're talking about snapshots, in the old ReadyNAS world, you kind of had two options. And this isn't the old ReadyNAS world, but this is common to really any of our Linux-based NAS competitors. From a snapshotting standpoint, you could do a couple of things. You could take one snapshot today, take a second snapshot tomorrow that's equal of size, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And in pretty short order, you run out of storage space, because as we all know, full images take up a lot of space, and there's not a lot of efficiency built in. Your other option, of course, is to take one snapshot, offload. The next day, you take a second snapshot, and you simply replace the previous day's snapshot. And you keep doing that. But the fatal flaw there is you always have a backup of your data in case of corruption or whatnot on the local machine, but it's only the most recent backup. With our ability now to take unlimited snapshots, what we're essentially doing is taking one master shot of the data and then recording the changes every time that new snapshot is made. And this is what really allows us the ability to go back at any point in time and to then restore files. So you see on the slide, in front of you, you have there along the bottom I think it says years, months, days, hours. You can set boxes, and many of our beta customers have done just this, or our beta users have done just this. You can take snapshots to you can set the box to take snapshots as frequently as you like, but some do them even on an hourly basis. You can also take a manual snapshot at any point in time. So if I'm a graphic designer, I'm an architect, I'm somebody that's working with valuable data, I don't want to risk even losing one afternoon worth of my work and my precious data. So as I'm working on files, I can be taking snapshots and using that as a data protection mechanism, or if I'm set them to take every hour, I know that worst case scenario, the worst I'm ever going to lose is 59 minutes worth of information. Along with that, of course, is the powerful ability to restore from any version. Not only restore from any version, but with a simple right-click on any file, you can actually see all the previous versions of that data that you have on your machine. So I think you all know, being in the reseller business, that when it comes to backup, in many ways you're selling an insurance policy. It's a lot harder to sell the concept of backup, I find, than it is to explain the value of easy restore. There's nothing that is going to be easier to restore than a ReadyNAS box running unlimited snapshots. It's simply a couple clicks of the button, whether you're local to the device or whether you're remote, and you're back to the file that you originally were looking for. So we're pretty excited about the both ReadyCLOUD interface, the ReadyCLOUD remote access capabilities, and of course the deep level of data protection that's actually built into the box, all of which can be accessed, of course, through ReadyCLOUD. With that being said, I do want to highlight just a few of the business features, some of which we've already talked about, but another enterprise class technology that we're bringing to the SMB with ReadyNAS 6 is the ability to not only instantly provision the box, but also thin provision your LUNs, which becomes incredibly important if you are going to start running virtual infrastructures off of your ReadyNAS box. I've probably said enough about the benefits of snapshots. The only thing I do want to mention is this is the type of technology, as I think many of you know, that was originally available in NetApp boxes. Certainly what you're going to pay for a NetApp box far outstrips anything that you're going to do. Is going to be dramatically more expensive than anything in the ReadyNAS family. And as I said at the outset of today's presentation, all of the features that we're talking about today are available on everything from our lowest end 102 box all the way through to the 516 and up into the 2120 rack mount. So this means that unlimited snapshots isn't just a feature that's reserved for our top end products, but something that is available even at a box that retails, or excuse me, that starts in the $200 range. Along with that, we are continuing to develop and innovate on our replication technology. ReadyNAS Replicate, as many of you know, has been a great utility in the past for maintaining multiple sets of data, ideally off-site sets of data for disaster recovery purposes. However, in the old ReadyNAS world, ReadyNAS Replicate was licensed on a per-box basis. The cost for that license could be anywhere from I think as much as $300 per box, and you have to assume you're always doing it to 2 boxes. Well, the good news is we have done away with the additional licensing fee. ReadyNAS Replicate is now part of the ReadyNAS OS 6 experience. So you can set up all of your Replicate jobs continue to be managed through the cloud portal, which is associated with ReadyCLOUD. So not only can you manage the files on your local box, but you can also manage replication jobs between all of the boxes that are associated with your ReadyCLOUD account. And again, though we have improved the interface and improved a number of the characteristics of ReadyNAS Replicate, it still works in much the same fashion as it always has. But again, no additional fee, and it is part of your ReadyCLOUD experience. Along with that, we are introducing antivirus to the ReadyNAS experience. The ReadyNAS antivirus is not kind of the old school full scan of your system to see what's on the blacklist type technology. This actually scans each file as it's written to the box to ensure that you're protected from any kind of threats coming in. Maybe the best feature of this the best component of this particular feature is the fact that there is no subscription fee. So this is fully maintained, as part of your ReadyNAS OS 6 investment. Along with that, we have data encryption on the box for the first time. And so really, most customers are looking for data protection in the form of backup and offsite replication, but we're also protecting from antivirus type threats and the threat of prying eyes when it comes to the sanctity of data. And I mentioned this a bit earlier, but we do view ReadyNAS as we're continuing to advance in the realms of virtualization. We do have the thin provisioning technology in that arena. We do support iSCSI on all of the boxes, and along with that, we continue to work very closely with all of the major hypervisor providers, VMware, Microsoft, and even Citrix, and we're fully certified in each of those arenas. Hopefully that gives you a good flavor for what we're trying to do on the business side of the ReadyNAS experience. I realize that the consumer features are probably of a little bit less interest to this crowd, but we do want to highlight a few of these items because these features that do apply at the low end do, of course, cross over into the entire line. As far as features for the home are concerned, one of the major innovations with the latest generation of ReadyNAS is the ability to remotely back up your data from any Mac device using the Time Machine utility. So for those of you that are Mac users, you know that if you travel away from your backup destination, your only option for backing up data is to use a cloud service such as iCloud. Anytime you use something like that, you're obviously going to pay a subscription fee. There's going to be latency issues. You're also agreeing to have your data kept on someone else's servers. With some of our remote technology, we're actually able to let users back up remotely to their NAS box, Mac users back up remotely to their NAS box wherever they happen to be. Along with that, we do feature ReadyDLNA media streaming, which essentially means that you can stream data directly from your box to your smart TV, to your tablet, to your smartphone without any kind of DLNA server in the middle. So we're excited about that, and of course we continue to support DLNA devices as well. On the file synchronization side, we have introduced a new technology called ReadyDrop, very similar to Dropbox for those of you that are familiar with Dropbox and how it works. But essentially you have a ReadyDrop folder that sits on your NAS box. You associate that box with any of your smartphones, your tablets, your PC devices, your Mac devices, and any file that you drop into the ReadyDrop folder automatically synchronizes across all of your designated devices. We're also fully integrated with Dropbox for customers that want to continue to do that, but the benefits, of course, of ReadyDrop are that you don't pay any kind of ongoing monthly fee for the storage that you're using, and of course all of your data is always safe on your devices. It's never being housed in the cloud or on anyone else's devices. We also announced several months ago the Genie Plus Marketplace, which is a development platform for add-on applications for all NETGEAR products. So far, the majority of development on Genie Plus Marketplace has been for the ReadyNAS platform. So when you have customers that are looking for ways to expand the abilities of their box, maybe different ways to stream media, maybe different ways to handle backups, different ways to handle web interface, what have you. There's a host of applications that can be accessed through the Genie Plus Marketplace. The Genie Plus Marketplace is available right from the master GUI of the machine, so we've dramatically streamlined the add-on experience. Along with that, it's my understanding that we have over 600 developers that have expressed an interest in developing for Genie Plus Marketplace. The important thing to understand here is any developer looking to develop for Genie Plus is going to have access to all the hundreds of thousands of NETGEAR products that are out in the market worldwide. So we expect that the level of development to be quite high. Genie Plus Marketplace essentially gives them an opportunity to monetize their investment and to get their applications out to as many users as possible. And then on the hardware front, there's a number of things that we've done that are just kind of worth mentioning quickly. We have introduced toolless drive trays across the entire family. While this makes life much easier for a home user experiencing NAS for the first time, it also saves a great deal of time and effort for data centers that are doing a lot of swapping of drives, a lot of replacing of drives, because they're no longer fiddling with that tiny screwdriver, 6 tiny screws. It's just as simple as snapping the drive in to the tray, pushing the drive into the machine, and you're up and running. Along with that, we do have HDMI ports on a number of the boxes, also an infrared remote sensor, and on the 500 series, or sorry, on the 6-bay series, we actually have a touch screen. At this time, we're not enabling a lot of capability through the infrared remote or touch screen, but it hopefully gives you an idea of where we plan to go with this box. This is a platform that we plan to continue to develop on for quite a few years to come. With that being said, we just want to kind of bring things to a close here. Want to mention and highlight for those that maybe are a little bit new to the ReadyNAS and NETGEAR experience. We're still waiting for the 2012 market data, but according to the Gartner share numbers in 2011, from a revenue standpoint, there is no vendor in the sub 5K space that sold more that sold more NAS storage or unified storage than NETGEAR with our ReadyNAS line. So this isn't something that we're new at. We're certainly as well established in the industry. If you're just starting to carry NETGEAR ReadyNAS, you should know that we're bringing a lot of experience and a healthy user base to the entire proposition. Along with that, from a raw unit standpoint, there's actually no vendor in the world that shipped more storage in 2011 than NETGEAR through their ReadyNAS line. As you can see on the kind of total units graph, we're right up there with the NetApps and the EMCs of the world. But both on the revenue and unit standpoint, when it comes to sub 25K and especially 5K, really that SMB sweet spot, that is where we lead the pack and have for quite some time. Just want to recap. There's a quick shot of the family as it now stands. We have our ReadyNAS 100 series at the low end, the 300 series there in the middle, moving up toward the 500 series that caps out our desktop line. As we've also announced the ReadyNAS 1U 2120. Everything to the left of the 2120, of course, runs the ReadyNAS OS 6 operating system. We do continue to support the 2U 3200 and 4200, and we'd ask you to stay tuned for developments and what we're going to do as far as developing on the 2U platform. And then we continue to do some really exciting things in the Ready Data world as well. I've seen a few questions come in through the chat. I think most of them have been addressed. But I do want to touch on the fact that the ReadyNAS OS 6, while it does continue to be Linux-based, is based on the ButterFS file system. And it's really this new file system which affords us the ability to do some of these incredible things, especially in the realm of snapshots and what have, and putting the protection right on the box. In summary, just want to make clear that our proposition with ReadyNAS Operating System 6 and all the new things that we're doing with the ReadyNAS family really boil down to this concept of making storage easy. For our business customers, this means that we want to give them an easy way to access enterprise or business level features such as unlimited snapshots, thin provisioning. We want to make things as easy to manage from anywhere with our ReadyCLOUD experience. We continue to feature X-RAID 2 for auto volume expansion. Certainly the replication technology being included as part of the fundamental OS will mean a great deal to customers looking for a disaster recovery solution. And of course the real-time antivirus and encryption to keep things safe. At the end of the day, there's a lot of power that's being packed into this little box. If I had to summarize it in kind of one or two sentences, you know, we're taking a storage box and giving unlimited snapshots for data protection, cloud-managed replication for disaster recovery, antivirus for security. Essentially, you're getting so much more than just a basic NAS box. It in many ways is a storage appliance that allows for data protection, disaster recovery, and security from threats. With that being said, we very much appreciate your time today. We do have a number of new assets on our website. If you go to www.netgear.com/ReadyNAS, you'll find a host of information both for home consumers and for business uses. On the Resources tab of each of those pages is a wealth of videos highlighting individual features of the new box. There's also information there as far as data sheets and what have you. We're in the process of moving a lot of that information into the PowerShift portal as well, and we'll make sure that all of that is available there. There have been a number of questions regarding availability to the slides. We will have the slides and a recording of today's presentation posted to PowerShift also by the end of the day. We will continue to monitor here the chat window for the next 15 minutes or so and answer any questions that you may have. Davin, anything more that you want to add in closing today?
Nope. I just thank everyone for their time, and I'll keep answering questions in the chat. So if you have a question that has been answered, just stick around and I will get that answered.
Great. Thank you, Davin. We thank each of you, and as well as some of the information that is already published on the web. Over the next few weeks, we will be rolling out additional videos as well as a series of white papers dealing with some of the technical aspects of the new hardware. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your efforts in selling the NETGEAR proposition, and feel free to reach out to us at any time with additional questions or comments. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.
Ladies and